I'm Oral Hershiser, and I am on Blue Review.
Hey, this is Sean Green. You're watching the Blue Review.
Um, um,
Good morning, everybody. Happy Friday. We got a case of the Fridays around here.
Yeah.
We're all waiting to go back to bed. But that's it.
and,
Otherwise,
I have the wrong hat on, but what are you gonna do?
are great. Welcome to the Blue Review presented by LAX. I'm Marcas Grant. That is Greg Bergman. We will be joined shortly by Anthony Wrobo. But the Dodgers had an off day yesterday, but coming into a big weekend series with the Phillies. Even for an off day, Greg, a lot of things, a lot of news, a lot of things happening with this Dodger team.
Yes, there is. Sorry. Yes. Get out a little sneeze. At least I knew to mute it, So you don't hear the loud sneeze that sounds like I'm saying, yeah. But no, there's a lot of stuff going on. A lot of things that we have. Ryan Ward is up. River Ryan had a really good outing yesterday. Tommy Edman had another appearance down there as well in OKC. Lots of stuff to get into.
Yeah, indeed. First one, let's hear the Blue Review is powered by LAX. What does it take to build a champion? At LAX, it takes round-the-clock testing. Skylink is being perfected right now to connect you to the airport, the new rental car center, and the metro in under 10 minutes. For more information, visit lawa.org/ESPN. Time to bring in our pal, Anthony Wrobo, who I'm guessing was at LAX recently because you were not in your you were traveling, you were in a different locale. So I don't know if you have experienced the People Mover train or the Skylink train at any point yet.
Yeah, I've been on the move a lot lately, as you guys know. I have not tried that yet, but should the need arise, I'll be quickly in line. But currently in San Francisco right now for work. So yeah. I also have a case of the Fridays as both of you do.
Yeah, it's just kind of what it is. Kind of going around right now. It's okay though.
Just don't sneeze,
just
that's what that button's for, Greg.
Exactly what that button is for.
Utilized perfectly.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm a professional.
Exactly. Speaking of professionals, the Dodgers right now in the midst of a 5-game winning streak. They have won 12 of 14, if I have that right. Either way, things are going really well for this group right now on the field. Off the field, injuries seem to continue to be an issue. Guys, we were debating in the text chat who would be the person to come up and replace Teoscar Hernandez. Anthony was the winner when he immediately said Ryan Ward. Greg, you were hoping, I guess I was hoping too, for James Tibbs. But, your thoughts, Greg, on what we should see, what you want to see from Ryan Ward.
I want to see him be just a little bit more consistent. He's going to get a runway now with Teo being out, with Edman not coming back up yet. He's going to get a lot of starts out there in left field, unless it's Alex Call, but he's going to get more playing time than he's ever had in the big leagues. I just want to see him be a little bit more consistent. Be the guy that was the MVP last year of the PCL. So it's just something that I want to see him show that he has his power. That maybe he has gotten a little bit better on defense, because I think that's always been a problem for him. But just to come up and be productive and show that he was been in the minors for so long, and this is his opportunity, and it's going to be a pretty long opportunity for what it sounds like.
Yeah, it seems that way, which is good and bad. It's good for Ryan Ward to get some opportunity. It's bad in the sense that it means that there are going to be guys that are a little ways from coming back. So that is absolutely unfortunate. Anthony, one of the things you mentioned in our group chat was that it has a lot to do potentially with James Tibbs not being on the 40-man roster. If he were on the 40-man, do you think he gets this opportunity right now?
I would guess that if he were on the 40-man, James Tibbs would be the guy that got the call the other night. I think this is very much a numbers game. Look, they already it turns out they're going to get to keep Espinal, but they already ran into a numbers issue with Espinal, and they DFA'd him. Then Kiké gets hurt 48 hours later or whatever, and they were at the risk of losing him. He cleared waivers. He's going to come back. But I think this is a situation where they don't want to run into that again, because if you, let's say you put Kiké on the 60-day, which means then you can add a 40-man guy, and that's Tibbs. So Tibbs comes in. Well, let's say in 6 to 8 weeks, Kiké's back. You then have to create another spot on the 40-man for him because you've added Tibbs. You had to DFA somebody else. And so I think they don't want to run into this carousel of continually having to cut guys off of the roster in that way. And I think if they thought that this was like, if Ward was their only option, maybe they make a little bit of a riskier move and go with Tibbs. But I think the fact that Alex Call is probably going to get the majority of this time that Teo's out, allows them to say like, okay, Ryan Ward as the light part of the platoon, we're okay with that in the short term. And so I think a lot of that has to go into this decision too for them.
Well, we talk about a long runway for a guy, whoever it is, looks like Ryan Ward right now. Part of that is because Kiké Hernandez probably going to be out for a while. The report being he has a significant tear in his oblique, and so that suggests that he's going to be shut down for a good long time. So we're going to see some guys get some opportunities to play at the major league level. It would be interesting to see if maybe they do bring back Santiago Espinal now that he's cleared waivers. We'll see Ryan Ward. We'll see who else maybe comes up in this time when guys are out. A name we could see, Greg, not on the hitting side, but on the pitching side, River Ryan, who had a fantastic start the other night down in Oklahoma City as he's sort of working his way back from injury. But, you know, in a rotation that's probably already too crowded. I mean, we're still trying to figure out what happens when Blake Snell and Tyler Glasnow come back. It's one more name to add to the mix, which I always say this, a good problem to have. It's a problem for the Dodgers, but it's a good problem to have.
Yeah, it's a really good problem for the Dodgers to have. And they have a guy that they always have guys in these minor league systems that just tend to be great a lot. We've already seen River Ryan last year, and we saw what he looked like and what he could become, but he's now pitched. He's now 2-0. His outing last night was fantastic. He went 6 innings pitched, only allowed 4 hits, 1 run. It wasn't earned. He had 8 Ks. And it was just, from what it's looking at, that's the longest outing of his career at 6 innings. So that he is ready to come up when they are ready to bring him up. That doesn't mean it's going to happen anytime soon. There's like you said before, that the pitching staff is pretty much set in that spot with what they have right now. But if someone starts to falter, or Sheehan starts to give it up, or Roki goes back to the beginning of the season, and they decide that they want to make some kind of move, they do have another guy in River Ryan that they can pull up and get some good innings out of.
Well, I guess that begs the question then, Anthony. I mean, if you are Emmett Sheehan and you've been dealing with velocity issues and a couple of rough starts, if you're Roki, I guess maybe not Roki so much because he seems to be improving, but are you looking over your shoulder now when you see numbers like this from River Ryan?
I would think so. Yeah, for sure. I don't think it's imminent that, he's going to come up, in this series or anything like that. But yeah, I think that they now have another option besides the guys that they've been running out there. Justin Robleski also, who has good numbers, but there was bound to be some regression toward the negative side for him, and we've seen some of that. How long can you get away with not missing bats and pitching to them? In big leagues, that's a really tough way to earn a living. He's been very good at it. Let's not beat around the bush there. But how sustainable is that strategy? We'll see. It started we've seen some cracks in it. Let's say the last couple of starts at least. But yeah, I think probably the guy with the target on his back currently, the biggest target is Sheehan. And if he doesn't kind of figure this out, whether it's a velocity issue or just a command issue, because right now it's both. If he can't figure that out, then they have an option to go to in River Ryan. So, and a really good one too. It's not just a guy that could fill innings. This is a legitimate guy that they think is going to be a part of the rotation in the future. So, I think this is a good problem for them to have because a solution has now presented itself in case a situation arises.
Yeah, I think that's kind of where it is. That's where I'm at with this too. This is sort of an in case of I won't say emergency, but in case it's needed kind of thing with River Ryan. I know that they like him. I know everybody's excited to see him. the Dodgers just have the issue of there's not really space to get him into the rotation. I guess Eric Lauer is another option, but
Yeah.
I think we'll see him at least for one or two more starts before they have to make a decision on that. But Greg, I don't know. Did we find out anything more about Alec Thomas? Is he still in the shadow realm? Because I know you were looking up Tommy Edman's stats as he's rehabbing. I don't know if you found out anything about Alec Thomas.
No, I went through the entire internet to find numbers from Alec Thomas, and it does not exist. It is in the ether. But that's why Alec Thomas is somebody that they apparently liked and wanted to see because of his defense. And so, but the fact that they didn't bring him up when he has major league experience and was just playing this year with Arizona, he has a light bat, but he's a very good glove. The fact that they didn't even think about that makes me kind of think that, to Estrado's point earlier, that they don't want to mess around with the 60-man the 40-man roster, that he could be a guy that's like, okay, look, this is not something that so I think there's always avenues that the Dodgers will want to go with to manipulate the 40-man roster in certain ways. Alec Thomas he's not in AAA. He's at the Arizona. He's in Arizona Complex League. And there's nowhere anything to be found in there. So, I mean, obviously they might still like him. The fact that he's in Arizona, it might be easier for him to get from place to place. But if we don't see him in some sense, I don't see why they wouldn't just be like, okay, that's enough. We don't need you, or even Eric Lauer. If he looks like he did in Toronto again, there's options to pick people off the 40-man to get to James Tibbs. But I do agree that they don't want to be constantly moving things all the way around and having to manipulate too much.
Yeah, I think they try to, again, you never know what's going to happen. You do want to leave yourself options because injuries are a reality. We've seen that obviously over the last few days with this team. So I'm sure they'd like to keep themselves as flexible as they possibly can in terms of their roster construction. I had an interesting conversation with my dad. We were talking about this a couple of days ago. Now, this conversation actually happened when Kiké Hernandez was healthy, and it looked like everybody was starting to get back and ready to go again. Kiké was there, Teo was there. But when this team is fully healthy, that they have all the guys that they're hoping to get 1 through 9 in this lineup. Anthony, who is the ideal 9 hitter for this team? Understanding, I know it seems trivial, and a lot of teams are like, whatever, but for this team, it's like you want a guy who can produce and get on base ahead of Shohei. Who is the ideal number 9 hitter when everybody's healthy and ready to go?
It's a fair question because that does become an important role in the lineup when Ohtani is your leadoff hitter. I guess when everyone's healthy, the cleanest answer is probably Tommy Edman. A guy who's capable of getting on base, capable of moving himself around the bases. And so I think that he has the bat to ball skills and the approach that I think the Dodgers would be comfortable hitting him there. When everyone's healthy, I can't think of really anybody else that you would stick there and be like, we'd like to actually get that person more opportunities with guys on base. So, he would be, I think, the obvious choice in a full healthy lineup. If we're talking currently, then it's probably one of Freeland, Kim, Call. So there are those options now, but I think those options are there because they kind of have to be. I think to your original question, it's probably Tommy Edman when everybody's in the lineup.
Yeah, I mean, Greg, is that your thought too? Is it Edman? Is there somebody else you'd like to see down there?
No, I think Edman's the right choice when everybody's healthy. Also, like the fact that he's a switch hitter, and so you can't really have somebody you can't go by an arm to get a lefty arm up there to go and have to get to Shohei. It helps at the bottom line that he can go on switch sides, and he is the best option. He needs to be healthy, but when he has been healthy, he's looked really good for this team. He's looked really good in Major League Baseball when he's healthy. He just doesn't stay healthy very often. So it's nice to see what he's doing right now in AAA. That he played last night. He had 2 hits. He has his batting 500. It's only been like 2 games though, so it's like 2 for 4 right now, or sorry, 3 for 6 maybe. But either way, the fact is that he's looking good at AAA, and I would love to see him come back relatively soon and be in that 9th spot you're talking about. Right now, it has to be Freeland. I actually like the idea of Call if he's going to play every day. I love the idea of Call in the 9th spot because he takes a lot of pitches, because he finds a way to get on base, because he does walk and then he bat flips, and he's so excited.
I love it.
It's one of my favorite things on this.
It is amazing.
I love it. I like Alex Call. I think what we're seeing now is the Alex Call that the Dodgers believed they were getting when they traded for him with the Nats.
Mm-hmm.
I think he came over last year after that deal and was pressing and maybe like trying to make a name for himself a little too much as a Dodger, and changed his approach and how he kind of attacks pitchers. This year, I think that maybe there's more security for him in saying like, hey man, you're a part of this team. Like, don't do anything differently. The guy that we wanted is the guy that we traded for. Go be that guy. And he's looked a lot closer. He is the guy that they traded for. The guy who has a patient approach, very deliberate in how he goes about in that bat. He's doesn't chase a ton. Very good bat to ball skill. That's the guy we're seeing now. And that's why he's now a guy that we like, because this is what we expected last season out of him. So yeah, I think there's something to be said about like him solidifying a place on the roster and being able to go out there and go, okay, you know what, if I go 0 for 3 with the walk today and move a guy over or something like that, I'm not going to be out of the lineup completely tomorrow, or my place on this team isn't in jeopardy. So yeah, this is a very, very useful Alex Call offensively, aside from the good defense he's going to provide.
Yeah, I do think, to your point about last year and him pressing, I mean, I think there's an element of, hey, I just got traded off a team that's 30 games below 500 in last place, going nowhere, to a team that's already defending World Series champs and very much has a shot to do it again back to back. I do think there's the element of, I need to make an impression. Like, I need to show these guys that I belong here in this clubhouse and in this dugout. And so maybe you saw that. But yeah, this version of Alex Call is great. I feel confident with him at the plate. I love seeing him in the outfield. It's been a lot of fun to watch Alex Call play this year. By the way,
real fast, he reminds me kind of like an old school Brett Butler, Mark Sweeney, the guy that comes off the bench and gets hits. He's not going to be bunt like Brett Butler, but the fact is he comes in and you feel like he gives you a good at bat, like as a pinch hitter, and he does it when he's actually in the lineup too. So I was just feeling like that old school feeling.
Yeah, I like that. As you guys were talking, by the way, I was continuing to look for Alek Thomas stats. The best I can find is that he has played one game in the Arizona Complex League and went 1 for 3 in that game with a walk and a strikeout. So that's all I know.
For him, I think it's a matter of, because he is on the 40-man. For him, it's just a matter of he's not ready.
Yeah.
I think if this happened a month down the road, he would be a legitimate possibility. But I think at the time that the injury happened to Kiké, I don't even know if he had played a single game at that Arizona complex yet. Yeah. So, they put him on the 40-man because they want him. There was a reason behind all of that. It's just that he's not ready to be in the big leagues right now.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's probably what it is. So, if we find more about Alek Thomas, this might just be a recurring bit. We just keep looking at Alek Thomas stats.
Let's bring about Thomas.
Yeah, it's just an ongoing bit until he shows up in the major league.
Watch him become like a World Series hero,
right?
Right.
When Alek Thomas is suddenly, he steals the base that ignites the rally.
Right. He's Dave Roberts.
Anyway, Dodgers start a big 3-game series tonight. Really intriguing 3-game series. I won't call it huge, but an interesting 3-game series with the Philadelphia Phillies, who began the season just playing terrible baseball. They fire their manager. They installed Don Mattingly as the interim manager, and that has turned things around. They're now above 500. They are trying to close the gap on the Braves, who got a big head start on everybody else in the NL East. good or bad, they're not going to see Christopher Sanchez. We sort of talk. I feel like it's the same thing like with Mizorowski. On the one hand, maybe it's good to avoid him. On the other hand, you'd like to maybe get a couple looks at him before you potentially see him in the postseason. But I mean, Greg, your feelings about this series and what you're hoping to see from the Dodgers in this series?
First of all, I don't want to see Christopher Sanchez. We've seen Christopher Sanchez enough times, and the league so far this year has seen enough of Christopher Sanchez. Where I think it was at 44 innings right now that he doesn't have given a run.
Unbelievable.
Dude's on absolute fire. I don't want to see that guy ruining any of these bats right now. I'm totally fine with not seeing him until later on in the year when he's not as hot. What I want to see I want to see. You mentioned Wroblewski and how he has kind of been struggling recently, and that's going to happen when you are pitching to contact. But this is a team in the Phillies that you can't really do that to. They are going to hit balls out of the yard. They're not going to be balls that are just going to be put into play. They're going to be smacked, and they can just be moved, and they can move around the bases. I know they were terrible early on, but they're back to being the Phillies that they were last year and pretty much the last few years. So Wroblewski has to be on his top level A game. So does Roki Sasaki. I want to see Roki Sasaki look like he has his last few starts, not striking guys out. But if he's going to be inside that zone, he has to be in that zone with purpose, because Schwarber is sitting right there, and he is leading the league in home runs, which you let me know yesterday, Marcus Grant. Actually. And so like this team is dangerous. Now their pitching is still not great besides what's his name? Besides
Sanchez.
But Zach Wheeler's still a good pitcher. And I think he's going tonight. This is going to be a tough series, just like Milwaukee was a tough series, but just in a different way. Milwaukee will just these little dinks and dunks and just get on base and score runs when they need to. This team will beat you by the long ball. And so it's going to be a very tough situation for both Wrobo and Sasaki, and then a little bit of Yamamoto on Sunday.
Yeah. I mean, who do you feel better about right now, Anthony? Is it Wrobo? Is it Roki?
I think it's still Wrobo for me right now, but it's a lot closer than it was a couple of weeks ago. Roki is trending up, but I still got to see a little bit more from him. There's still been some cracks with him, and it's the one thing I think he's gotten a lot better at is letting things completely snowball out of control for him, Roki Sasaki. And so he's limited that. That's a positive sign. If he can now stop the initial snowballing, I think then you're cooking with gas with him. But he's not been able to do that basically almost ever in his career so far. So right now it's Wroblewski that's in the lead for me slightly. But yeah, this is a team that probably more than any in the National League is built like the Dodgers. It's built in that idea of hit the ball out. And if you are in the zone too often and you miss in the zone too often, this is a team that will punish you. Bryce Harper's hot. Kyle Schwarber's still. Trey Turner has been better, a lot better. So they have a bunch of guys there that will make you pay if you're not on top of your game. I'm with Greg. I'm very happy they're not going to see Christopher Sanchez. We don't need to see that guy again. He's done enough damage against the Dodgers in the past. And the other thing too is, for me, Mizorowski is because he's a young guy. They've only seen him like in a quick, 4 or 5 inning stint in the playoffs. So it'd be good to get another look at that dude. But with Sanchez and Wheeler, like I wish they were missing Wheeler too. I'm of the mindset that like in series like these, this is okay because at the end of the day, you're chasing one of the 2 best records in the league, and if you can get easier shots at wins against teams like the Phillies that you're going to be competing against for that record, I'm all for it. Because here's the other thing: the Phillies might not win that division, and they might end up being in the wild card. And imagine you having to face Christopher Sanchez and Zach Wheeler in a short series. Kind of doesn't matter who you got against them. That's tough. And so you don't want to fall into that world. They got a good break last year with the Reds, who, they made it, and credit to them, but they weren't a very good team. You face the Phillies in a situation like that, and suddenly you start to sweat before the games even start.
Yeah, that's very true. I was thinking selfishly, I'd like to see the Dodgers be the team that prevents Sanchez from breaking Oral Hershiser's scoreless inning streak record. But we leave that to somebody else.
That'd be nice.
Yeah, that's all. Just protect your guy, protect Oral. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's all. That's my argument there. But whatever. Anyway, should be an interesting series. We'll be back with you on Monday to talk about it. Anthony, good to see you. Enjoy the trip to San Francisco, man.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it. Thank you.
All right. Thanks to Tim for production assistance. Thanks to everybody in the chat for hanging out with us. The Sedano and Cap Morning Extravaganza coming up after us. But that'll do it for this edition of the Blue Review presented by LAX. For Anthony, for Greg, I'm Marcus. We will see you on Monday, 6:30 to 6:55, right here on the ESPN LA YouTube channel.
See you. All right.